From PickDogs.com here with Steve Monahan from PickDogs.com. Of course, we've got free picks every game, every day at PickDogs.com. We don't miss a beat. I was doing videos for the 4 college basketball games that I wanted to do videos on for today that the lines just came out. Michigan, North Carolina, Oregon, Gonzaga, Alabama, Iowa State, and Seton Hall, Southern Miss. Few teams in there that you guys might have heard of when it comes to college basketball. So I just figured people would be interested. I wanted to get those videos up. And I was telling Steve before the show, I'm like, man, I pushed this Apple computers to the limit. I talked about it on the other day. And you could hear the fan going on this thing. And it's about 600 degrees, my computer rate. I can't even hit the keyboard. But it's pushed it to the limit. But anyways, I think Steve had computer problems on his end. It was a hard reboot. It's Thanksgiving Day. Everyone's got the day off. Well, a lot of people have the day off. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Steve?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Absolutely.
So what's your favorite balloon in this year's Thanksgiving Day parade? Is it Mark Mangino?
It's always Woody Woodpecker. Come on.
Woody Woodpecker. Always a fan favorite. Snoopy, of course.
Yep.
You know, and Spider-Man.
Molly Brown, of course. You know, Peanuts. Come on.
Yeah, when I lived in New York, I had the pleasure of going to a few Macy's Thanksgiving Day parades, left with wallet still, which was half the battle. And I tell you, I went to, they're like, the first one I ever went to, they said, never snows at a Thanksgiving Day parade. It was dumping snow. And it was the New Kids on the Block were the big feature of this Thanksgiving Day parade. And some guy from some radio station came around giving out tickets, and I ended up with 4 tickets to New Kids on the Block, which it only took me about 6 steps down the sidewalk to be able to give those away. It was the hot ticket at Madison Square Garden that night, and yeah, it was an odd day.
The balloons are blowing around today. It's pretty windy here in North Jersey in the big city.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's joining us.
Absolutely.
It's my absolute favorite holiday. I know we try not to, we're international
men of mystery.
Site here, but I am in the U.S. and I am American, and it is Thanksgiving Day, and I respect everybody else's holidays and everything, but I don't care. The pie is actually, there's only 2/3 of it left. I hit the pie last night. I admit it. You got to get it while it's fresh. It's like, why wait till the day after to be eating leftover pie? That's like, it's got a little gummy, right?
Pie's got to be eaten on Thanksgiving Day.
Pie's got to be eaten, on Thanksgiving Day, and it's like, it's just me and my wife, so it's like, we're not going to eat a whole pie. So who's going to notice that a third of the pie is missing?
Well, Sam can have the other half of the pie.
Yeah, I put it this way. I took a nice slice of pie. My wife said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm eating a piece of pie," and she didn't complain. She didn't say, "Oh, you ate the pie." She went over there, cut herself a slice, and threw some Cool Whip on it, and that was the end of that story.
Damn. There you go.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's amazing, it's like you see like a picture of the dessert with Cool Whip on it, and you see my pie with Cool Whip on it. They look nothing the same. It's like there's always like a little dollop of Cool Whip on it. Mine's like a mountain of Cool Whip surrounding the pie. It's like, it's kind of like one of those ice cream things, that has the surprise in the middle, but it's like Cool Whip.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I'll use my finger in Cool Whip any day.
That's how it's done. But we got a great slate of action here. Back in the day, it used to just be 2 football games on Thanksgiving, and that was it. Then they started adding a college football game, and sometimes they've had 2 college football games.
Yeah.
Now we have college basketball tournaments that run on actual Thanksgiving Day. The NBA and NHL has 1 game. The NBA takes the day off, and then they load us up the night before, load us up the day after.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I've come to. I used to not like the NBA. I've really come to terms with it, and I really like it now. So, I think they've done a great job. But, we got 3 NFL, and let's get rolling. We got the Bears and the Lions. Matt Stafford not playing, and Jeff Driscoll not playing. So the Lions are really down at quarterback, facing a Bears defense that it's to me, it's not the Khalil Mack show that it is for everybody else. I always mention the same guy every time, so I just go with Bromley. I think Eddie Jackson runs that defense. I think he is the key to that defense, just like I thought he was the key to the defense at Alabama.
Right.
And
he cod, no doubt.
Should the Lions and Cowboys be on Thanksgiving every year? Yes.
Yep.
Because they are.
Because they are.
Because
That's it. That's it.
But
I like
what do you
the
think
Bears
here about this Bears? Because we got that lousy Bears offense too.
You got two lousy teams, really. I mean, got to pick one of these teams. I'll go with the Bears here. I think the Lions are a disaster.
I think this is a solid underplay for me. I just think that I just think that you have ineptitude everywhere you look. Kerryon Johnson is a nice running back, but it's like the Bears know that all he has. Marvin Jones plays really well in contract years. He's one of the best contract year receivers out there. I mean, he spent the first 3 or 4 years of his NFL career on the injured list, resting up for his contract year. And then in his contract year, he had Calvin Johnson-like numbers. Then he comes back, he plays
reverts back to waiting for the next contract.
Yes, 6 to 7 games, here and there, and then contract year.
Yep.
He's everywhere. It's like I'm open, throw it. That's his thing. So
I like the under here. The two inept offenses, injuries galore. What can you say? It's still NFL football.
First to 15, I think probably pretty much gets this one done.
I think so.
I think 15, 16 points for the winner. And that means under for me.
Absolutely. I agree.
Go to Dallas, where the Kerryon Johnson is out for the year, so even more under then. So we got Cowboys and Bills. Dallas.
Listen, I gotta think the Cowboys got to win a game here. I mean, they've been not playing good football the last several weeks. They're home. Bills are a good team. I think Elliott is probably going to rush for a lot of yards today. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
I've gone back and forth.
Cowboys at home, they got to right the ship. Yeah,
I've gone back and forth on this game, and it's just I can't get a handle on it because you look at who the Cowboys' wins are against, and it is the nobody of nobodies.
That's right. They're not quality wins, that's for sure.
But the Bills are a quality team. They're 8-3. They're a playoff team.
They're playoff bound. There's no doubt.
Well,
I think they are.
We're not. I'm not going to repeat what Winston Wolfe said about this type of situation, but I will say that let's not get ahead of ourselves.
All right, but they got 8 wins. I mean,
lots of cream, lots of sugar.
The Wolf.
Please, Winston.
Could do a whole show on Pulp Fiction.
I've been waiting to bring this one out. It's only for holidays.
Oh.
Anyways.
What do you like here?
I'm back and forth on this thing. I am so back and forth on this game. I think I like the Bills with the points. I know Dallas on Thanksgiving usually plays well at home in these games. They do. The Lions, when they had Barry Sanders, they were good on Thanksgiving. That was a long time ago. But I think I'm going to go with the Bills and the points. I've seen the Cowboys. Generally, they play well on Thanksgiving. I've seen a few times where they haven't over the years, but normally it takes like a superstar player to destroy them or an odd thing. The Leon Lett play was on Thanksgiving against
the Dolphins. Right?
The Lawrence Taylor game was on Thanksgiving Day, where I think that was like a 9-3 type game too, where Lawrence Taylor I think scored 9 points and the Cowboys scored 0 or something.
Walter Payton's brother Eddie with the big kickoff return on Thanksgiving. I think it was against the Bears, right? Way back when, early '80s.
Yeah, I mean, and the Clint Longley game was on Thanksgiving.
That's right, against the Redskins.
Yeah,
so Pearson.
It's been a lot of great Cowboy Thanksgiving games. Should the Lions and the Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving? I at this point I'd have to say yes. I just do, and it's just
it's tradition. They get a night game. Any NFL team can play at night, but those slots are reserved for the Lions.
I think they should be, and I think the other game, the nighttime game, should always be a heated rivalry game. We've seen the Chiefs Raiders in that spot, and I think right here with the Falcons and the Saints, and the beauty of the Falcons Saints is there's a couple of these games this week where it's a 2-week rematch game. They play a game in between, and then the rematch, kind of like Pittsburgh. Gee, it's coincidental that Mason Rudolph got benched this week. It's the rematch with after who knows what he said to these guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any excuse for hitting a guy over the head with the helmet, but it doesn't make anything that this guy said acceptable in any way. In any arena, in any scenario, in anything. If he said it, he didn't say it. He did say it. I didn't hear it. I heard it. It's. He said, she said,
But I like the Cowboys at home.
All I know is I've seen Myles Garrett play in about 100 football games in college and the pros, and I've never seen him hit anybody over the head with a helmet before.
Right.
I've seen him get penalized a ton, though. A ton.
Yeah.
So
we're the other number 1 overall pick, Myles Garrett, no doubt. But listen, he's in the penalty box for a while here. So
we got. So Steve Overlay is saying the Cowboys didn't play that bad in New England! Exclamation point. Whoa, is it a double exclamation point?
Well, they scored 9 points.
Steve Overlay's tribute to high school girl text. We got a lot of exclamation points. Weather and coaching, refs got them. I don't know about that. Both teams play in the same weather. That's to me, weather is always a bad excuse. It just both teams play in the same weather. It doesn't matter. Like the Dolphins, when I was a kid, it would always be like this whole big deal when they would play in the cold weather, and yeah, it was a big deal. It's like it was hard. I never had seen snow until I was in my late teens, so I know what it's like. It's bad, but when these guys come down to South Florida in November and they're used to these nice cool temperatures in October, they come down, it's 85 and sunny. It works the same way. It works the same way.
Right. But one question about the Cowboys today is Amari Cooper hurt? I don't know, but he was very ineffective against New England, no doubt.
Yeah, but what?
Bill Boyer is a good corner and showed that.
No. I would say that in that game that they specifically said during the game that they spoke to Bill Belichick. They speak to the coaches and the players before the games. They have like a whole sit-down, briefing with these guys. And they said that Bill Belichick was not concerned with the Cowboys' running game and that he was only concerned with the passing game. So while we thought they were going to take away Ezekiel Elliott, it was clearly Amari Cooper that they took away.
And boy, did they ever.
Yeah, well, they've done it to they've done that same thing to a lot of players throughout the years. It's whatever guy they want to take away, they are going to take them away. And it's like, it was Amari Cooper. It was pretty clear. And they just were not afraid of Ezekiel running on them.
No, not at all.
So we could go back and forth about this, how he didn't say anything about what Rudolph said after the game. And I say the same thing about Colin Kaepernick, right? That he never said anything before he sat on the bench or anything. It doesn't make the message, less. Like with Colin Kaepernick, like I said before, I don't say political things on the show or anything like that, but I'm going to say I agree with what he says. I 100% agree with all that stuff. I just don't know why he didn't say it before he didn't stand up for the flag. That's all I say. And to me, the fact that he took the money makes him a fraud. And it's like, if you want to stand behind that cause, I'll stand right next to you. I'm not gonna kneel during the national anthem, but I'll stand right behind you. I 100% agree. I've seen it. I might have had a run-in or two with a police officer in my life where I feel I didn't get such great treatment either.
Officer Mahoney ring a bell and
he's on the list. He's on the list. It's like, but I agree with all that stuff, but it's like, you have to say it then. It loses a lot of the thing if you say it after the fact. Like if he was saying the whole time, this guy said this guy said this guy, it has a lot more impact than you're at a hearing and it's like
falls on deaf ears and it makes Myles Garrett not
it doesn't mean he didn't say it.
Today's age, I mean,
because here we're talking about
it. You better be able to back it up.
So it's like it's still in the back of your head, that it's there. He's planted the seed, no doubt about that. I just think that it does lose some of the impact. I'm with you on that one. Let's get to this Falcons Saints game. This team's that's how we got to the Browns Steelers, but now we're on Falcons Saints. These teams just played 2 weeks ago in New Orleans. It was a rivalry game. The Saints were a huge favorite in that game. Came up way short. I have to say, and I know Saints fans aren't going to like this. They're not going to like this at all. But the team was better with Teddy Bridgewater as the quarterback. I said it, all right? And I was anti-Bridgewater, right? I was anti-Bridgewater. The offense was better with Teddy Bridgewater running it. It was better than it is with Drew Brees. I don't know if Drew
Brees is 5-0 with Teddy. I think they went something like that.
Not only were they 5-0, it just seemed crisper. They seemed to run higher scores. It just seemed to run better. The offense just seemed to run a lot better. And with Drew Brees, I don't know if he's still injured and he tried to come back, because he's injured and I'm a gamer and all that other stuff. It's like, but the offense hasn't been as good. We saw last week against Carolina, they put up a lot of points, and then the defense, lets up 34 points. And they didn't win that game. I mean, maybe the final score says that they win that game, but this is another one. You got the Saints versus Panthers. They stick it on the bottom corner, and it's like, let's have we like Drew Brees and we want to get him into the playoffs because our ratings haven't been so good. And it just doesn't even make a lot of sense to me. So, the Falcons, meanwhile, a lot of people think that they were a comeback story, and then last week they get crushed. I mean, just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, so they're hugely inconsistent, number one. I think the Saints have payback, but to your point, Brees has not looked like Drew Brees. Is he still hurt? I don't know. But I think the Saints are going to show up tonight. I think the Falcons, I can't in good faith take them. So I'm going to take the Saints whipping the Falcons tonight.
I expect bombs away in this game.
I
love the over here. Because the other game was so low scoring and defensive. I expect the Saints to really open it up here because I think they played it super close to the vest last time. And I think Drew Brees does that. And I've said it throughout the years. I think he plays it a little conservative. I think he throws those 6-yard patterns with 10 to go and expects his receivers to make the play. And that's why Drew Brees, and I've said this before, and he says it, that he's a better quarterback when Darren Sproles is on his team because that's what he does. He throws the ball behind the line of scrimmage and lets his receiver make a play. In San Diego, he had Darren Sproles. He was really good. When he was in New Orleans, when he had Darren Sproles, he put up his best numbers. He needs that. Kamara is his Sproles, right? When Kamara was out, he doesn't have that guy. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. He creates the plays. We know he can hit Thomas, and this guy's good, and all this other stuff. But he needs that guy, And if he doesn't have that guy, he's not as good. But Teddy Bridgewater seems to... I don't know. Maybe he's a little more smooth back there. They're not going to replace Drew Brees with Teddy Bridgewater. It's not going to happen.
The Teddy's 6'5", too. And
Taysom Hill? Maybe.
Right. Well, that's your boy. I know that.
I like Taysom. We're going to see some Taysom Hill tonight.
Good. Very well.
I like the over.
Yeah, I like the over, too. I think because of the wide receiver, Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Ridley, they're all going to light it up.
So we got some good college basketball tonight. And this afternoon, I did a lot of videos on these games, and the reason why the show was a little late is because I was processing these videos. Those of you that joined us late, I was processing the four of the games where the lines came out early or late. So I just want to go over a couple of these really quick. We're not going to drag the show out. And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do for tomorrow. Steve is probably going to join us tomorrow. Probably maybe go 15 minutes early and maybe try and knock out some of the NFL or something, because we got a lot of college football tomorrow, and I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe we'll just have to go free-for-all style, and we'll just go NFL. That's what we'll do. We'll just go free-for-all Friday, and then whatever. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, no doubt.
We always do. But I want to talk about this Michigan versus North Carolina game, because I honestly think in this game that Michigan wins this game. But you got any thoughts on this? North Carolina, undefeated, but they've only covered once all season, and that was the opener against Notre Dame. Michigan, on the other hand, they have the win over Creighton. They haven't really played much. They won on Thursday, beating Iowa State. Okay, pretty good team. Not a lot expected of the Wolverines this year on the coaching change.
Yeah.
But I like them in this game. What are you thinking?
No, listen, North Carolina's really good. What are they, ranked sixth, I guess, right now? But it's still early. They're due. I stubbed their toe early. I'll take Michigan here. I'd like Michigan to be competitive here, no doubt.
Roy Williams, generally his teams are he always has tons of talent, right?
Always.
Tons and tons. But generally they underperform. They underperform. They don't reach the levels that they're expected to reach. Yeah, he's won some national championships. You can't take those away from him. He's had some great coaching moments. He's had some great players.
Absolutely.
I mean, great players. And, in college basketball, it goes a long way when there's only 5 guys in one ball. Having the best player goes a long way. That's why LeBron James's teams are always in the final, why Michael Jordan's teams were always in the final, because one player goes a long way. But I think in this game, as good as Anthony is and as good as some of these Tar Heels are, Michigan has 2 things going for them in this game, 2 or 3 things going in this game, 3 things going for them in this game, which is why I like them. So number 1 is they shoot 70% plus from the free throw line. Okay, so
that's always good.
Neutral site tournament games. You hear it all the time. Jim Nantz, these games are won and lost at the line, right? How many times Jim Nantz probably says that in his sleep, right?
Absolutely.
The other thing, Michigan, 41% from beyond the 3-point arc. You heat it up from beyond the 3-point arc.
That's
They're
a good
never
number.
going to catch you. They're never going to catch you. It's like they can score 2, and you can score 3, and you can score 3 again and 3 again. It can get double digits very, very quickly, and they'll be playing catch up all game on you. And then you hit a couple more on them late, even if you miss a few in between. Then it's like boom, dagger. We saw Virginia Tech do it to Michigan State, right? 40 seconds left, boom. The freshman, right? It's like. You see it all the time, and I just think that does it. And when you look at Michigan's record in neutral site tournament games over the last 15 years, that's where their numbers are. And it's like, you guys know I'm not like a Michigan backer. I mean, there's millions of them out there, right? It's a super large fan base. And, a few years ago, a good buddy of mine, Pete Mahacek, who I used to watch the games with in Chicago, he's from Miami. I knew him from high school, and I met him. I ran into him again in Chicago. I'm like, oh, come on over on Saturdays and watch the games. And he used to watch all the college football with me every Saturday. Canes fan, all that kind of good stuff. But, he was like, yeah, and Michigan fans are really upset about the way things are going there. And this was the pre-Harbaugh. I was like, who do they think they are? They've won nothing in football, right? Nothing. They've had the top recruits forever. They've won nothing. Who are they to even say that? And he was like, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right. It's like,
what?
I mean, give Miami, Michigan recruiting and Michigan facilities and see what happens. Give us a 110,000 seat stadium. We had one and no one beat us. When we had our own stadium, nobody beat us. 59 in a row. You know how many tailgates that we won? We had my friends and I. We have the winningest tailgate. We have plaque. 59 in a row.
I remember.
So, I don't know. I just think that Michigan, this just so sets up for them. And a Carolina team 1-3 against the spread that just hasn't covered. I think Michigan at least covers the spread.
I like them to cover here.
The other game, the other big one of these games, there's a lot of good games, and I have videos on most of them. But the other big game is Oregon Gonzaga, and the Zags. This is not a novelty act any longer. It's like Boise of football, right? This is not a novelty act. It's like these guys can play, and it's not like the years where everyone's expecting all the stuff from Gonzaga, and the Elite Eight comes and they're out the door. Sweet 16 and done. This is a real contender now every year, and Mark Few's done a great job there, and he took over from Dan Munson, and Munson had taken him to the mountain, and Few has climbed the mountain with them.
Absolutely.
And, Munson left for the greener pastures of Minnesota, and that just didn't work out for him, right?
No.
But Long Beach. I like what he's done.
Pitino's in Minnesota now. That's how it worked out.
I like what he's doing at Long Beach State. The kind of will play everybody. It's like, we're going to go 0-12 to start the season, but it's going to be North Carolina, Michigan State, Gonzaga, Kentucky.
Good schedule, absolutely.
It's going to be the who's who of college basketball. Hey, if we knock out a win in one of those games, we're going to be the best 1-11 team. And then when we get to our conference,
you're ready to play.
Look like nothing. It's going to look like we're playing Army.
Yeah. I like Oregon here versus Gonzaga, though.
I like the Ducks because they've scheduled up. Even to get to this game, Oregon got the win over Seton Hall in an absolute war last night. I know that they'll probably be a little bit worn out, but I never really buy into that in college hoops because these are 17, 18-year-old kids. So it's not like, me. It's like
they played AAU. They played 4 games in a day, like nothing, before they get recruited. I mean,
like my wife.
They're not going to be winded.
My wife, it's like, can't you put your dish in the sink? You know how exhausting cutting that piece of pie was? It's like it was 2 cuts this way, and then there's the lifting of the pie onto the plate.
You got to go in the drawer, get the knife.
I'm gonna need a nap. Yeah,
no doubt.
But these are 18-year-old kids, and especially a game like this. The one thing we have to factor for Gonzaga is they don't play a lot of these teams later on in the season. So these games are super important to them when it comes to seeding in the tournament. Yep. A win over Oregon. Last year we saw Gonzaga in the same spot. They were here, and they played Duke in the final, and they beat them. And it went a long way in their tournament seeding because after this, and they have a few other games on the schedule, but after New Year's, it's Pepperdine, Pacific, Loyola, Marymount, I know San Francisco, BYU, and St. Mary's, but even those teams are not like Oregon's going to be playing. Arizona's good this year. Sean Miller. He's got, USC is pretty good this year. Colorado's ranked this year. UCLA.
Arizona State, etc.
Yeah, Oregon State. Tres Trinkle back for his 17th season.
They play good competition, so.
Yeah, so it's like this isn't going to affect them as much. Just like, I did a video on the Southern Miss game. We're not going to go over that one, but I did a video on it, and I kind of say it's like the committee doesn't look at, they did this in this tournament. They look at this as Oregon versus Gonzaga. That's all they look at. And they look at the other game, too, like Oregon beat Seton Hall. They don't look at it like they won this tournament or they came second in this tournament. They don't look at it that way. Just like Maui here, Virginia Tech, they don't look at it like, they didn't win the tournament. They look at it, they beat Michigan State, they lost to Dayton, who was unbelievable, right? And Kansas, Dayton, they beat Virginia Tech, they lost to Kansas. That's not going to hurt them.
No, not at all.
So
I'll go Oregon here. I think Oregon, obviously, they're ranked very high right now, and I'll take the Duckies.
I like the Ducks. I think when you look at the schedule, they have played the schedule, and they beat Memphis. They beat them with Wiseman in there. So,
Right.
I think that, that they've seen it before. It's going to be a war, and it's probably going to be an over. I generally think that good teams, it's under, and bad teams, it's over. But this is a good team over game.
No, I agree.
So, all right, let's see what else we got here. See, we got some questions. San Diego State Creighton over under 133.5. Weird San Diego State team this year. I always loved San Diego State. I liked when Bill Fisher was coaching there. He's gone now, but I just think that I think that San Diego State this year is one of the better offensive San Diego State teams that we've seen in a while, because they were so defensive heavy, but they still have the good defense. Creighton, they still have the good offense. Their defense still isn't good enough. I could see this one going over the 133.5, because I think San Diego State's defense will hold them down, but you can only hope to contain them. You can't stop them. And then on the other side, on the other side of this one, McDermott's teams, we know they're going to run up and down the floor. I mean, this is what they do, right? But San Diego State, like I said, they can put points on the board this season, and with Creighton unable to stop them, it's going to have to be a track meet style game. I like the over. I think we've seen a lot of overs in these games so far. And yesterday I meant to put it in, and I didn't do it on the premium picks, and I bet it myself. That Virginia Tech BYU, over. I gave out the over in the Virginia Tech Dayton game. It was like in a similar number to this. It was like there's no chance that game stays under. It's like, it was over by like 30 points or something. It wasn't even close. Most books, just an FYI also thing, most books, you guys have to be a little bit careful when you're betting these totals in college basketball. Spread your bets around throughout different sports books, because they will throw you out. If you bet too many college basketball totals, they will throw your ass out of there. Don't let it happen to you. It happened to me. They say that you're a professional if you're betting too many college basketball totals, because one thing we know about the sports books and the online sports books, or the brick and mortar sports books, they don't like to lose. And at a certain point, they don't just pay you out and say, okay, go on your merry way. They say that you violated one of the rules, and they don't pay you. So you have to be super careful with it, and always try to use U.S. trusted books, if at all possible. They'll at least pay you out before they walk you out the door. But college basketball totals, that's the place where they know, if you really know what you're doing, that's where you're at. I was limited to $500 on college basketball totals at several places. So they limited me, and then they said, well, you can bet other things, not college basketball.
But I don't want to bet other things.
Well, why would I bet other things when I got Virginia Tech with just a 126 total, and the game's going to 190?
I don't want to do that.
It's actually NBA totals and college basketball totals are where the books take the biggest beating, like from the pros. Like, they can only hope that the public will offset it. That's their only hope, and that's why they limit you, because it's like they might have light action on the Manhattan Marist game or something. They also they hate the in-game and halftime total betting too. Hate it. So just be super careful out there with it. Dress it up. Dress it up. If you're gonna do the totals and you're gonna hit them hard, throw in some stupid losers. Just throw in like some really like bad bets. Like take
cover your tracks as best you can. Type of thing.
Take the Baltimore Orioles against the Astros. Just throw in a couple of those.
Right. Even though Chris Davis will strike out 5 times.
We just did this game. I can't even tell you how just didding this game we just did. It's like we literally just did it. And also, there's a video on it on YouTube. Steve, Egg Bowl, any change of opinion here on this?
No, I'm sticking with the Bulldogs of Mississippi State.
I'm going to stick with Ole Miss in this one. I think the Egg Bowl is always doggy. And they really don't like each other.
No, they do not.
I like all the Hail State comments on my YouTube video for this one, though. Appreciate it. Got it. So be sure to subscribe to our channel. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm going to recap, and I don't see anything else. Here we go. Harvard versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M, of course, Buzz taking over as head coach, leaving the Virginia Tech job, of course, after the whole Marquette thing.
He's a good coach.
Great coach. Harvard, smart team. Right?
Well, Tommy Amaker.
Yep. Harvard favored here against Texas A&M. I don't think so.
No. I'll take the Aggies here.
Texas A&M looked horrible. I believe they played Gonzaga. I believe Gonzaga did play somebody, and I think it was them, and they lost by about 50. They're not going to be the only team to lose to Gonzaga by 50 this season either. But it was a little alarming.
Against the Crimson here.
It was alarming, and I know that Harvard is a nice program, and Penn is a nice program, and Yale is nice too. They all are good teams this year. But I think when you're in against the Texas A&M team that took the bad loss to Gonzaga already, I think at that point, you can't really do it. I mean, this line went from 1.5 to 2. All the public money, everything is on Harvard. Texas A&M hasn't covered a point spread all season, and that's part of the problem. And Texas A&M, though, only allowing 62.8 points per game. Harvard, of course, dominating from the free throw line. And we're Texas A&M, of course, we're the bricking out from beyond the three. 22% from beyond the three-point arc. It isn't going to get it done on the playground, let alone against Gonzaga. It's like you're going to get crushed. And that's right. We saw that. Harvard has the loss to Buffalo. They beat Holy Cross. Big deal, Buffalo is a good team, and I give Buffalo always a ton of credit. Most people, they don't think about Buffalo until March. They've been in 4 of the last 5 tournaments. They've won tournament games the last 2 tournaments, Buffalo. So you can, I don't know too many other handicappers out there that have this information. I don't have any notes. So it's like I just know that somewhere in here I just know this stuff.
I know you do.
It doesn't even make any sense. But
I'll go A&M.
So the Gonzaga game I'm referring to now, I just put it on the board, and they lost 79-49. Okay, it was if it was a fight, they would have stopped it. They were getting 8.5 in that one. It didn't really get it done for them that day.
That's
and
true.
They bounced back with a win over Troy. They didn't look as good. I gotta think that Buzz does something here. That he's good enough. They, JJ Chandler's good. Nebo. It's like they have players. Harvard has Bryce Aiken, and he's the guy. 32 points last time out. When you have a guy like that, Buzz is usually pretty good against guys like that, though. He generally figures it out.
Yeah. Again, I'll go Aggies here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texas A&M too against Harvard. Any other games here that anyone wants to hear? Anyways. The Bears line is jumping so high because the Lions are on their third-string quarterback, John Blow from Purdue. And you got to remember Purdue.
Where's Gus Farrat when you need him?
Yeah, Purdue had Andrew McCown is saying that but he says that 3 national championships for Roy Williams supersede my smug comments. I paraphrase, but it's like I've always been critical of Roy Williams, and I know he's got 3 national titles. I know that. How many times though has he had teams that should have won the national title? I know Coach K doesn't. When you break down the numbers of the national championship coaches and the guys who are the legends of the game, Dean Smith doesn't have that many. I know that. But at the same time, it's I don't know. It just seems that in these winnable games is where he looks. It just seems that he looks out coached a lot. I don't know.
He can at times. That's not a bad observation.
Yeah, all right. I take it back. He's got 3 national championships. Those are his to keep. So all the other ones, there's videos out there. Iowa State, Alabama. Just check the video. Yes, I do best plays of the day every single day. Every single day. I have a premium area at pickdogs.com, and my best plays of the day every single day are there. Every day. I never miss. So, like, not being a premium, just like, so my best play that's not my best play, I sometimes on the show I say I really like this. I mean, but it's hard to say that it's my best play, but not really my best.
My bestest play.
Yeah, because I rate the premiums too, so I have a best of those. You know, so it's like, what I want you to do is go through all of your free picks and rate them, starting with 1 all the way down the line. I would love to do that, but there's just not enough hours in the day. Honestly, you guys know I would do it. Someone sent me an email this morning, you know, and I answered it right away. They said, when in the hell do you ever sleep? It was 3:30 my time. I mean, I got up. I did 4 videos this morning. You guys can see. This is what it looks like outside in Hawaii right now.
Nice.
Pitch black. I mean, it is 5:54 in the morning.
Even pitch black looks nice in Hawaii.
It's 5:54 in the morning, you know, here. And, you know, we're 41 minutes into the show. We're going to let's recap it. I like the under. Steve likes the Bears. Bears. Steve says Bears, 146. Lions, -3. I like the Bills. Steve likes the Cowboys. I like the Bills with the points. I don't think they win the game. Well, maybe they do.
The Cowboys got to show up, man.
Anyone surprised if the Bills rout them out of town? No. I like the over in the Falcons-Saints game. I think maybe Drew Brees decides to throw the ball down the field a little bit more. And Kamara, you know. Michigan over North Carolina, Oregon, and Ole Miss for me, Mississippi State for Steve. Wow, is a good QB. Yeah, Purdue was awesome with him. You know, it's really good.
Well, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Have a Thanksgiving.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Maryland is a very, very horrible football team. Yeah, they're not good.
Yes, they are.
They're not good, man. Yeah, thanks to everyone that joins us. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope to be so fat you don't recognize me tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll come on live during that Falcons Saints for halftime tonight. I have a lot of work to do today because NBA's got 13 games tomorrow or something. So I got 13 videos to do plus the college hoops and any college football games that for college football tomorrow, I think I have a good amount of videos out there. But I got to do all those NBA and stuff. So it's going to be a busy day, but we'll squeeze in a halftime show. Steve, you're going to join us tomorrow, right?
You bet. I'll see you in the morning. You got it, guys. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank Trevor. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right. I'll see you later.
Have a good one, everyone. Enjoy. I'll see you guys tonight during the game.